Five, four, three, two, one. Thunderbirds are go.
What is going on, everybody? Hopefully you can hear me. Hopefully I've set everything up. This was a bit rushed. Yeah, kids, shopping, work, everything got in the way. But hopefully everything is good. What is everybody drinking? And thank you so much for joining the FPL Today live stream. Always appreciated when you guys jump in on the stream. Now know that audio is sorted as usual, so we'll throw the iPad and earphones away. And let's get into who is in the chat. We've got Matthew Berry was first in the chat. So Matthew Berry, you get the first place medal. I don't have a medal yet, but you know, we might see if we can get something sorted. See if I can get something. I have no idea if that actually works, but I was going to see if I could get a medal on you in the chat, but that would be something I'd have to investigate. Thank you for joining. How's my Gameweek 35 going? We'll get into that as well as the questions, but we'll just see who else is in the chat. We've got Chaos, we've got Jeremy T, we've got Jeff Holt, we've got... Those are the ones active in the chat, although we do have 13 people watching, so thank you so much for jumping in on the stream. Jeff is on the large brandy. I saw someone was on IPA, so that's good. And we'll jump into things, shall we? So first of all, we'll just cover how I've been doing. If you follow me on Twitter, I am now trying to be more consistent with my updates on how my team's doing over the weekend. So I have been tweeting out. I haven't said what I'm drinking. And I have been tweeting out my team each morning and then asking everyone how they're doing. So you can get involved there on Twitter, of course. I am drinking Strongbow because it's what we've got in the house, and my wife likes cider. She doesn't drink beer. So I'm on the cider tonight. Dark fruit. Not the manliest cider there is, but never mind. I got 58 points so far with Tucson should come on for Sane, because I don't think Sane played in the Gameweek 35 game. And my door's just creaked open. 1 second. That I may be needed for something, but I will be right back. Okay, so I need to learn to shut my door properly because otherwise the window blows open. But I've got 58 points so far with, like I said, Tucson to play. So we're hoping for a Tucson hat-trick. That would be nice. Hopefully Kennedy doesn't do anything major because he's not going to come on. So if Kennedy has an amazing game week, then Kennedy and Mariappa are going to be the two players that don't come on that get lots of points. This guy I was never expecting to play, to be fair, but I was pretty confident Devraka would play, so I just picked the cheapest goalkeeper possible that was in a playing side, just in case. I still haven't designed my kit. I should really do that, but we'll get to that. As far as performers, Van Arnholt was the one that to get the clean sheet out of my 4 defenders. Wilfred Zaha. I was going to talk about Mohamed Salah and then confuse myself. Wilfred Zaha didn't do much. Salah, of course, got his obligatory goal. Salah didn't play. Sterling did have a good performance. Kind of wish I'd captained him or Lacazette, who, of course, had a great performance. And Jesus also turning up with 7 points, giving me 58 points, which is well above the average. But the average is going to be affected, of course, by a lot of the people that don't have free hit, that may not still be active. My rank has risen drastically from how far it had fallen last game week. I'm now at 28,071st on 2,071 points overall. Back into the top 50 in the FPL Today League. Green arrows everywhere. And hopefully this is a sign of the last 3 game weeks also being green arrows. So that is how I've done this game week. So thank you for asking, Matthew Berry. As for Otamendi, stick or twist, that Man City side is going to be really hard to predict. I imagine he's going to want to break records, Pep Guardiola, and that's all he has left. So I imagine strong teams will still be played. I just don't think you are going to be guaranteed that your players are going to start. The safest ones I would assume would potentially be Edison, and there's rumours that Edison wants to take a penalty now that they've won the league. So clean sheet and a penalty goal could be really good. Not saying that's definite, but just you heard it here as well as wherever else you may have heard it. But Edison apparently wants to take a penalty this season, which if he gets it and a clean sheet would be massive for a game week. Imagine he got 2 penalties in a double game week or something. And then I'd say potentially Jesus is nailed on. Purely because I don't know the striker options they've got after Jesus and Aguero. And Jesus has been out for a bit. Aguero's out for the rest of the season, apparently. So those are the 2 Man City players I would probably consider. The rest, I am worried about rotation. By the way, like and share the video, of course, if you want to help out the channel. And next question is... We've dropped to the bottom of the chat. Love it when that happens. Salah exit comments. Do you mean, Jeff, Salah exit is in transfer exit rumours or exit out of FPL sides? Let me know and I will answer that question for you. Thank you, Matthew Berry, for the nice free hit team. I suppose it could have been better, but it would have it could have been drastically improved by my captaincy choice. And there are a few clean sheets that I could have got in on. But otherwise, generally quite happy. Maybe Arnautovic would have been better than Zaha for this game week. Chaos is alive. I knew that because you messaged me on Twitter. But just in case anyone else didn't know, Chaos is still alive. He's still with us. Still part of the flock. As I just get my phone to make sure no goals happen. So, you know, don't want to miss Tosun hat-trick. Isa T, good to see you in the chat. Good evening, JNO. I'm using my second wildcard for Gameweek 36 so I can bench boost on 37. That could be a big Gameweek 37 for you. Can you help me with how to set my team for the rest of the season? Okay, so the first thing I'd like to bring up, and I've not named them so I could get this wrong. That is the wrong one. Those are the double Gameweek 37 fixtures on the screen right now. Of course, you've got the big teams and you've got some small teams that have things to play for. So when we look at these teams, Arsenal still potentially have position in the table to play for. In my fixtures and form video, I think I go into Arsenal's chances of a table finish a bit more deeply. Can't remember it off the top of my head, but Burnley and Leicester for Arsenal, potentially they're going to want to be trying to win those games. I think they could still sneak a Champions League place. I don't think it's likely, but they've also got Burnley chasing them as well. So you could get some good performance from the Arsenal side. Defensively, there's been rotation, but Monreal definitely looks like a good option. Wish I'd have picked Monreal instead of Bellerin. Up front, Aubameyang, I'm imagining by game week 37, he may play the Burnley game. Then there's the risk Aubameyang may get swapped for Lacazette in the other fixture. I think also Aubameyang is more nailed on for game week 36. So if I was to pick one, I would probably go Aubameyang out over Lacazette. You've got other options, but rotation is a risk. You've got Chelsea still is something to play for. Again, they could still sneak a Champions League place. They do have the FA Cup to think about in the future, though. So who knows about rest in game week 38. But Liverpool and Huddersfield. Liverpool game, that's going to be a big one. With the way Liverpool are playing, they may put in a weaker side, potentially, depending on if they secured their Champions League place. But Huddersfield, you'd imagine Chelsea to beat Huddersfield, but again, rotation is always a worry at this point in the season. You've got Man City. Again, I've already spoken about Man City. I think they'll still put out strong sides, but I think rotation will start to happen more frequently. Man United, they're going to want to keep second. So I think they'll still play. But again, FA Cup round the corner. I think you've got to try and find the nailed-on options there. Then teams like Swansea, for instance, still have a chance of staying up. Bournemouth and Southampton, those are big games where big performances could come from those players. Southampton, Everton, Swansea. So you could potentially look at some differential picks from sides that really have something to fight for. West Ham, depending on what they do in game week 36, could have secured their safety. But those are the kind of the teams that I would look at from there. As far as fixture ease, we have Man City with West Ham, Huddersfield, Brighton, Hove Albion, Southampton. So again, look at the nailed-on options. Spurs, now with nothing else to play for. Again, they're probably going to want Kane to win Golden Boot. So I would look at Kane. Then Eriksen seems to me the most nailed on out of the midfielders. And then defender-wise, if you just want to be sure they're going to play, Vertonghen looks like the best bet. Man United, of course, Arsenal, Brighton, Hove Albion, West Ham, Watford. After the Arsenal game, they look like they've got easy fixtures. You're looking at the likes of Lukaku, Sanchez seems to be pretty nailed on. You take a risk. I say that. I think Sanchez didn't start in the second game of double game week 34. So maybe take that back. Lukaku seems pretty nailed on, though, as a starter. Then you've got Swansea, Chelsea, but then it's Bournemouth, Southampton, Stoke, so the fixtures are okay after the Chelsea fixture. So you could potentially get a differential like Jordan Ayew in there or a defender from Swansea. And then Chelsea, Swansea, Liverpool, Huddersfield, Newcastle. So you'd be looking at players that are likely to start. Willian seems in form. I suggested Victor Moses on my fixtures and form video, but of course you can go Marcus Alonso and Cesar Azpilicueta as well. So hopefully that's given you some help as far as that goes. ICT, it does of course depend on your ranking and what you're trying to achieve, but hopefully that has helped you out a bit. And just seeing that Everton Newcastle is currently 0-0, which means if it stays that way, I should get extra points from my goalkeeper, which would be alright. What I want is a penalty save from De Vraka and a Toussaint hat-trick though. Jeremy T giving Matthew Berry the medal. I think that should be awarded to whoever's first every single chat. We can make that a thing. Tyrese Mini, how's your game week? Would like to know. Covered it in the beginning, so we'll try and cover it as quickly as possible. But I got 58 points. 24 is the average. My rank increased to 28,071st. Back in the top 1%. Back into the top 50 of the FPL Today League. So doing pretty well off of this game week's performance. Hopefully I can keep pushing to get closer to that 10k at the tail end of this season. Thomas McCarthy's in the chat. Chaos is on 55 with Jagielka and Pickford playing right now. That could be some big points if it stays 0-0 for you. 2 clean sheets could be massive. Maria is drinking heavily. Good on Maria. You carry on drinking. Jeremy T trying to take Jeff Holt's claim for the pun of the chat. A Senk goal can't come too soon for me. That is quite a good one, to be fair. I couldn't have thought of that. 40 points for Thomas McCarthy. Overall rank, can't see it clearly. I think I just said it's a Sank, so hopefully you heard that. But my current rank is... I can't read it on there either, you know what? To be fair to you. It is pretty small depending on what screen you're using. 28,071st. In fact, I can make it bigger. I think I made it smaller because I was doing tweets. Is that better? Not amazingly, but I think you can see my rank slightly better. So there you go. Hi Maria, how you doing? Thank you for joining the stream. Okay, we've got triple captain thoughts by Thomas McCarthy if you're going to play it this game week. So, captaincy indicators from the website I'm part of, the current ranking order of players as far as how many people are captaining who. Harry Kane is the most popular choice. Mohamed Salah is second. Gabriel Jesus is third. Raheem Sterling fourth. And Son Heung-min is fifth. I'm assuming they're putting Harry Kane because he's going to be chasing for that golden boot. Mohamed Salah, just off of winning the PFA Player of the Year, could be looking to put in a performance, but there's the chance he gets rested as it's between Champions League games. Champions League tomorrow night will be a huge game. Gabriel Jesus looks pretty nailed on as a Man City striker. Man City with good fixtures. Raheem Sterling, I could see Sane Sterling swapping out, so I'm not sure about Sterling. Son Heung-min, and I've moved my whole screen, which I didn't mean to do just then. Again, not nailed on, but who knows what could happen. He could get a decent score. I personally would be leaning towards Jesus or Kane. As you see a little bit of my screen back then, as my live is slightly behind what I'm recording. See, I want to think Kane will score big, but I just don't have as much faith in him as I had for most of this season. So if we look at Twitter, because I put a poll out, and there are polls that are relevant that you can vote on as well, which makes a nice change because I did them earlier. I did ask everyone on Twitter, who are you captaining? Currently 71 votes. 44% has been given to Kane, 39% to Salah, Jesus with 8 and Sterling with 9%. So those are the running orders as far as people that follow me on Twitter. I think Kane and Jesus are the best options out of those two, purely because of the risk of rotation. We got TP back in the chat. Nice to see you, TP. Hereford won the title. Congratulations. Some trophies in the chat for Hereford and our TP. Worth bringing Kane in, not looking match fit. I still think it's worth bringing him in because if I remember correctly from last season, he wasn't scoring great, and then in game week 37, I think he went nuts. That's off the top of my head memory. I think those who had Kane, those who didn't have Kane, sorry, really suffered. So I think Kane is probably someone you should still be considering bringing in. If you're right and he doesn't play well, it would be a massive move if you didn't put him in and you were right. But it could be crippling if you were wrong. Thomas McCarthy using free hit for game week 37. Could work out really well for you because you'll have free reign over all of the game week 37 players. David Silva an option in game week 36. Let's have a look. Did he play in... I think he did play, didn't he, in game week 35, if memory serves me correct. I'm pretty sure he got points as well. Yeah, he played a full 90 minutes, got 10 points. I would say, yes, he's a great option as far as a player. Would I put him in my side? I think I would still go for the likes of Jesus, purely because if all Man City coverage, purely because he could get rested. It's very possible he gets rested, and if he does, then you're playing someone off the bench. If you've got a strong enough bench, maybe you can take the risk. I like David Silva as an option. I suggested him in my first fixtures and form video that I did for Game Week 34, I believe. So definitely a possibility. If Salah's not playing on Saturday, is it worth considering transferring out for a double Game Week player? I'd definitely say it is worth. It's worth it, purely because his game time will probably depend on how well Harry Kane is doing. If Harry Kane starts coming close to his goal scoring record, Golden Boot, Salah may demand to play. I think Game Week 36 likelihood to me is he gets rested. Anfield Express, by the way, spot on with their team. I missed it because I didn't think they released it as early as they did. So I put my notifications on Anfield Express at 9 o'clock, put my team out, and then a bunch of you guys told me, oh, have you not checked Anfield Express? I went back on their tweets and saw it. They were spot on with their prediction on the lineup. So I think you're looking at Salah probably not being worth it for the rest of the season. Maybe Game Week 38 bring him back in. But I imagine he'll get rested Game Week 36. Game time may be managed for the first game of Game Week 37. He could still do really well, though. He's the type of player that has done well when everyone thinks it's worth looking at other players. So I'm not confident in saying that you don't need him, but my gut would say go for a double Game Week player. Strikers, I have Jesus, Barnes and Wilson. I cannot have Firmino, Kane, Lukaku or Aubameyang. Any advice? If you're looking for advice on strikers, I mean, Vardy is still an option. With Vardy having Crystal Palace, West Ham, then it is Arsenal Game Week 37, then you could potentially transfer him out for the Tottenham game. Vardy's goal scoring record is decent. Anyone else I can think of? Who's got the good fixtures? And then I should be able to think of strikers from that. Swansea, I think Jordan Ayew could be a good look. Newcastle. I mean, Rondon, just because I see Newcastle playing West Bromwich Albion Game at 36. Rondon's underlying stats look huge, great. Just the goals aren't exactly there. So he could be a differential. Don't think many people will be looking at him. Newcastle, Jose Perez has looked decent, but I think it's going to be on and off for Newcastle players as far as the attackers go. So I wouldn't necessarily look there. Everton have a decent run in Huddersfield, Southampton, West Ham. Tosun could be an option, but again, he's not scored in the current game. So Wilfred Zaha, out of position player, but he's not a striker. So there's no one from Crystal Palace I'd look at. Southampton fighting for survival. Bournemouth, Everton, Swansea. A lot of people looking at Austin. But if your mini-league opponents aren't, he could be a very good, cheap option for you. Because Bournemouth, Everton, Swansea, fair enough, last day of the season it's Man City. But that double game with Everton, Swansea, with them fighting for survival, could be a decent look. That's probably all I can really do for you as far as strikers go, Salvador. TP's team, he's got De Gea, Pope, Morgan, me, Daniel, Cedric, Otamendi, Son, Salah, Grosh, Sterling, Willian, Lukaku, Austin and Wilson. Playing bench boost, Game Week 37, who to transfer. I mean, of course, look for double Game Week players. I'd probably keep Austin and Lukaku. Maybe change Wilson to someone. Just literally spoke about strikers, so anyone I mentioned in there you could look at. Willian I'd keep. Sterling probably keep just in case. Grosh, I reckon you could probably look for someone else for the double game week, but you could probably do that just before the double game week starts, because Brighton in the next game have Burnley, so maybe keep Grosh for that one. Son, I do worry about rotation, but he's got good fixtures if he plays. Otamendi, worried about his game time. Cedric, pretty decent choice. Daniels, not a fan of Bournemouth defenders. When is Me back? Because Me's been injured, so I'll definitely look at taking Me out. Probably won't be fit for the game at Stoke. Have they already played that? Am I reading old news? I am. So, could be fit for the next game, but I probably wouldn't risk it, and I'll probably go for a different Burnley defender. Morgan's okay. Pope and De Gea. Well, you got De Gea, so you'll probably be playing him. So, you could potentially, if you've got enough moves to make, swap Pope for someone cheaper. But, because I don't think Pope has a double game week either. So that's what I'd potentially look at there, TP. Okay, Svensson, how you doing, my friend? Please help me decide between two options. I've got Salah-less or Kane-less. Kevin Long, Salah and Jose Perez for Game Week 37, bench boost, or Davies, 4.5 mid, King or T. Carroll maybe, and Kane. It's a pick between the two. I'd go Kane because he has one more game. But form-wise, Salah's the better option. I'd still go Kane because I think Salah's game time's at risk. So I could see Salah starting 2 games and then maybe sub-appearances. Whereas I think Kane will start every game for the rest of this season. He'll want to get his match fitness up for England, I presume. So I'd probably go the Kane side. Difficult though, because we're looking at the player who's he's going to want to score one more goal to be the person who scored the most Premier League goals in a season. He doesn't probably know this unless he plays fantasy football, but he could get the highest fantasy Premier League points total ever for a player as well. So there's lots of records for Salah to go for, so he may really want to play, but I'd say go for Kane. Eight points and Salah beat the best FPL points total in history for a season. Exactly, TP. Surprised Kane is so high for Captaincy. I'd probably go for him due to lack of options, but would take Salah if I had him. I think the Salah worry is he might not start. Now, we do know there was the game week, of course, where he didn't start and he still had a great game week. But I think the main issue people are looking at Kane is because Salah isn't available. Now, Jesus potentially could be big, but Sterling is the one that's just had a good game week. I think it depends how many people I think are voting for how many people, are captaining Harry Kane. If loads are, I may go with the crowd, just because I don't want to drop in ranking anymore, which sounds very pessimistic. I could, of course, go for it and try and pick a differential. I may look more at the stats and have more details on that later. But I'm not sure if I'll be able to stream again. Maybe Friday, but that'd be a very late stream for the week. I could potentially do it tomorrow, but the problem is the Champions League game, and even I want to watch it. So I think I've given the reasons why I think Kane is higher up, but there you go. Kane claims goals. Exactly. If Tottenham score any goals, Kane will try and claim it, and he may get given it. Ammon Dillon, what's up, JNO? Graphics look good, different. Well, thank you very much. I'm hoping to do a little bit more. I'll take that down now, though, because we're not actually talking about that. But, you know, trying to do some extra stuff to make the streams a bit more interactive. And I'm good, Aman. Hope you're good too. On a scale of 1 to brown trousers, take a drink before I answer this question, just in case. How worried would you be about having no City or Liverpool players this week? Pretty brown trousers, to be fair, because Man City, West Ham, and Liverpool, Stoke, fancy both of them in both of those games, so I'll be pretty brown trousers. Ammon Dillon looking to bring in 3 City players. Goal to Everton, but it's not. It's bloody. It's Walcott. I had Walcott for a bit. Didn't do much for me. But that might open the game up. But that's really not the player I wanted to score, because that means the Vraka's clean sheet has gone, which sucks. Free City players, good, but it's just there's a risk of them not playing. TP, Fantasy Premier League tips. I don't know. His views have dropped seriously. But he's just simulating FIFA. But you know what? He's not affecting me anymore. So he can do what he likes. He's not using other people's content as well, which was a big thing. Did I check to see what I'd have scored? I don't know. But I know I had Firmino, didn't I, who didn't play. And I think because of... Did I have a Liverpool defender last game week? I'm sure I did. Yeah, Van Dijk. I almost went Karius. Kind of wish I did now. Because then I could have maybe spent something extra somewhere else. But... No, I don't remember. But Lacazette, that was huge. Did I have Aubameyang? No, I didn't, because I read somewhere that Arsene Wenger actually said, which is really nice of him, and I really wish more managers would do it. I'm likely to pay start Lacazette, so he's got game time under his belt for the Europa game. So really nice to see that. Who is more nailed on between Aubameyang, Pedrosa? I would say Aubameyang for game week 36. Potentially Aubameyang for game week 37's first game. Then I don't know after that. Right now, a lot of our bet was on Aubameyang being the starter in the Premier League because of the Europa League. But now they're close to winning it. Last game week, Lacazette started purely because match sharpness is the main reason. And a lot of people went Aubameyang. Aubameyang still got an assist, so still points there, but didn't do as well as Lacazette. I would say you have to read what Wenger is going to do whilst the Europa League is going. And then I don't know who his preferred choice is. I'd assume Aubameyang, but that is my personal preference. But that would be a really hard one to be 100% sure on, Pedrosa. By the way, like and share the stream if you want to support the channel. Various links in the description. You can also become a patron of the channel as well, which would support the channel, and super chat if you want to support the streams specifically and get your question answered quickly. Oh, and another thing, just a complete off topic, I'm thinking of taking these streams and editing them down into a more streamlined version as a video. So put best bits in. So if you want, you can also suggest to me best bits, or if you don't want that, which we do in the stream, by the way, you'd suggest best bits. But if you don't want that, just let me know in the chat as well. If you just want the whole thing put up live, for those of you that sometimes miss it and then watch it afterwards. Giving Morata one more game, thoughts? I mean, the fixture, if memory serves me correctly, is decent. Swansea. Swansea are going to be fighting for their lives, though. You just got to remember that. And there's a chance Giroud plays, because Giroud's been looking really good. I probably wouldn't give him one more chance, George Page, but thank you for the question. I still think Morata could have success in the Premier League, but there is rumours that he could be moving already. So it might be the end of the road for him. But I still like Morata as a striker. He had periods where he looked really good this season. How much will Salah be next year? I think he's got to be at least 12.5. The same as Kane started this year. Purely because, especially if he breaks the record for FPL points, then he has to be at least 12.5. Maybe even 13. Shane Long played more than Charlie Austin at the moment. True. You could go Shane Long. I'm not going to lie. Me personally, I think Southampton are done. So I'm not looking at Southampton players. So yes, my knowledge on who played for Southampton is poor. Very poor. Amon Dillon will get Azpilicueta instead of Morata. Thing is, when Morata's on, Azpilicueta gets more assists. Who should I get rid of? Aubameyang or Lukaku or both for game week 36? I mean, with Man U Arsenal, I mean, I fancy Man U to win just because Arsenal don't seem... But maybe Arsenal players are going to kick it up into high gear because Arsene Wenger is leaving. The players, of course, are going to have a lot of respect for him. I think Aubameyang is nailed on. Would he do well against a Man United defence? I mean, I personally am not a fan of Lukaku, so my gut says to go Aubameyang. I think Lukaku isn't the best striker in the world as far as when the team around him are playing well and he's given chances, he's good. But I don't think he's the type of player that can just go out and do it himself if the rest of the team's playing bad. Aubameyang has that kind of pace where he could just do something out of nowhere. My gut says Aubameyang. Underlying stats, which I've been looking at, Aubameyang comes up very highly and Lukaku doesn't. So my gut says Aubameyang. Everton looking likely to keep a clean sheet tonight. Yeah, that's annoying because I don't have an Everton player in my side that I'd get clean sheet points from. So I need a Tosun goal now. Tyrese Mini, for Game Week 35, it was said that Arsenal and Man City would be the teams to look at, and both these teams have produced some great points, especially with the last 2 goals from Lacazette. You're right, Tyrese. A lot of people were worried about a very rotated side, but I think me and a lot of FPL pundits thought that Guardiola would play a strong side. There might be some rotation, but would still play a strong side. So I would definitely consider keeping some Man City players in for the run-in, but try and find the nailed-on ones. I think Jesus and Edison are the ones nailed on. Not 100% though, but that is what I would probably be looking at for those teams. Teams with double game week, I'm looking at City and Spurs as the big sides. I did mention Swansea, I believe. Yeah, just because Bournemouth Southampton with Swansea fighting for survival, Jordan Ayew looks like a decent shout for me. Other than that, like I mainly suggested big sides there with easy fixtures. But if I was to try and figure out another cheap players you could look at that aren't just the big sides, Chelsea, Man United, Tottenham and Man City. Southampton you could get points from. I think Cedric looks good. I think Southampton probably the best fixtures other than Swansea. So I'd look at those side for the cheap players. See, I'm so far behind the chat. You guys said Walcott goal. I've already talked about it. George Page's team, Hennessy. Bet you're happy with Hennessy after this game week. Yoshida, Van Dijk, Valencia, Bernardo Silva, Sanchez, Ince. Bernardo Silva's not one I've seen in many sides. Izquierdo, Son, Lukaku, Morata, Thoughts. I mean, I'm not a fan of Lukaku and Morata. Morata purely because I haven't really been enticed by the Chelsea options. Lukaku, I'd much rather Kane, Aguero, Jesus, even Aubameyang now. So, but that is a personal thing. I've just not really got on with Lukaku in Fantasy Premier League terms. Still had some good periods with him when Everton had good fixtures last season. Sanchez, like the look of him. Potentially he could be starting to step his game up. Son, rotation risk. Bernardo Silva, I think, is now a rotation risk. Valencia, likely to play though. Van Dijk could be a good option because a lot of people will move away from him. Yoshida, I'd probably go Cedric if you could afford it. And that's the kind of way I look at your side, George. Dummett, clean sheet, gone. It's a shame, big shame. My Dobraka clean sheet's gone. Is Dobraka actually doing some saves though? I'm just going to check the Fantasy Football Fix app, which gives you like a live points total for players. Tosun's on 2, Dobraka's on 2. Doesn't look like he's got many saves, which is a shame. look like I'm potentially dropping a little bit in rank. Salvador Gonzalez going with Austin. I did see your fiction of form video, but any other mids that could be a differential? I have Salah and Ericsson. All the Man City players are taken. Same with Spurs. I did mention Zaha, but you've seen that, so I won't mention him again. Out of those double game week 37 fixtures, Ramsey, if he plays both games, Burnley and Leicester, looks pretty good for Ramsey. I mean, you could... I wouldn't suggest Mahrez now because he's gone very, very quiet. Probably thinking of moving again now. I don't really like risking a Man United pick that isn't the obvious ones. I think with Southampton, Ward-Prowse is always one that's mentioned, but I wouldn't go there. Swansea, that's a really difficult question. I mean, Arnautovic is classed as a midfielder and he's still scoring goals. Even with Leicester Man United in the double game week, Arnautovic could be a good shout. So that would probably be the one that I'd go for out of nowhere. As far as underlying stats go, is there anyone that really stands out as a midfielder? Arnautovic has got 18 attempts on goal in the last 6 game weeks, only one less than Salah. So he's the standout option. Willian has 15 attempts on goal. Balassi has 14. Thomas Ince has 12, who you've got, I believe. Was that someone else? I think it was someone else. So I'm talking nonsense. Pereira, Stanislas and Townsend all on 11 attempts each. As far as big chances, Arnautovic is on 3 big chances. He's only behind Ali, Salah and Sterling. So he's definitely a choice there. As far as shots on target, Arnautovic has 10 shots on target. Second again only to Salah. I'm talking myself into Arnautovic at the moment. Has the double game week, is cheap enough. Minute per chance is at 24.4 minutes per chance. Shot accuracy is at 55.6. 16.7 goal conversion. Could get slightly higher. As far as his goal involvement, he's involved in 67% of West Ham's goals. And then his distribution, he's got 1 assist. He's created 3 chances. So he's not that great on the creation front. But Arnautovic looks like a decent shout. So Arnautovic would be the one I'd probably go for as a recommendation. Sorry, lean back a bit because I'm making my chin disappear, my double chin. Hereford's captain just retired. He scored Hereford's only goal at Wembley ever and helped us reach the FA Cup second round. Hey, everyone's got to retire at some point. He's done the business for you though, by the sounds of it. There is a big spider on my wall. Are you trying to get me to turn around and look at it? Robert Hansen, I'm not falling for it. I can see my wall in my cameras. Then again, I could have really been focusing like when I put my head down and there was a big spider. But, you know. Upload the full video for streams, but once the season ends, do a World Cup FPL and do best of live streams for the season. That's a lot of live streams to go through, though. I've been quite committed to live streams this year. So that's a lot of footage to go for. But if people want me to upload the whole thing, then I will. Fixture watch graphics. I mean, I have got this. It's not exactly what you're talking about. But that is something I plan to keep bringing to the stream. There's not 5 matches, of course, to actually look at. But, you know. You're right, Siraj. Siraj has joined the chat. You know what? With Siraj joining the chat, I think I'll help myself to another drink. Best to worst amongst teams. Are you talking about the league in general, Am and Dylan? Everton clean sheet would not be perfect for me because I could imagine there's a few people behind me that would get some points that I'm not getting. If Tosin scores, I don't mind an Everton clean sheet, but I need him to score. I do not want Kennedy to score, that's for definite. Gary B in the chat. Am and Dylan, I am on points-wise. overall. I'm on 2,071 points. To be honest, my benchmark, like, I have to get over 2,000 points. If I don't get over 2,000 points in the season, I know it's a really bad season. Wait, what am I doing? I'm pouring that into my... Sorry for the sound effects, because I believe that's quite close to the microphone. Jeff, I love creativity. You go for it, mate. No worries, George. 72 points if you keep a clean sheet. Nice, Gary B. Nice. Svensson's team has got De Gea, Hennessy, good choices. Maguire, Monreal, Norton, Dummett, K. Long, Salah, Sterling, David Silva, Son, Willian, Jesus, Vardy, Barnes. 2 million in the bank, Forts. Decent with the strikers, I'm okay with that. Son, rotation risk. Man City players, you're going to need some, but again, rotation risk. Salah may not be worth it anymore. Defence, I don't have much to argue with. And keepers I'm quite happy with, so it's mainly midfield that I'll be looking at. Gary B, I also agree. I think free hit was very good for this game week, just gone. Amon Dillon could have had Ramsey instead of Zaha. That would have changed the game week. And Orbiter Lacazette. I would look great in a man bun. Are you serious? Mate, my hair. If you ever see me when I haven't had my hair cut for a while, you can't do anything with my hair. Literally shaving it off is the best I can do. How about a poster of the flock to decorate your wall? I could have a look at getting something. I need two though, because my my video view is different, of course, from my stream view. So, but I do need to get some stuff to decorate the walls. Change captain from Sterling. A lot of people went with Salah just because it was the popular choice. I personally think if I could, and it wasn't, I'm obviously trying to get big on Twitter as well as YouTube. But if I could stay off Twitter, sometimes it would benefit me because I might captain someone else. But this time it really benefited me that I went on Twitter because everyone told me some of the players I had that were wrong. So, you know, you guys help me out. I help you guys out. It's a mutual beneficial relationship we got going on here. Jeff, that would be sick. If you guys sent me images to, like, put on the wall. Could potentially look at that, get a PO box or something, so you guys could actually send me stuff. That is a very nice idea. Craig Manuel's in the chat. How you doing? Hey, popping in to say hi. Still helping me out, mate. Much appreciated. Chin or gin? Well, I've got a chin, but no gin. Exactly, Tyrese. We need a twosome goal for definite. How about rest of the game weeks without Salah? I personally think Salah will not feature in game week 36. So I think maybe Salah isn't worth it anymore. 2 games to other players 4 potentially. Craig Manuel saying, thank you for the help. Up to 30 for my league and 12k overall. Good free hit so far. 67 points with 2 playing tonight. That's pretty damn good. That's better than me. You guys taking what I say and doing better than I am. Sterling could be huge. I've lost where that was. I reckon, Robert Hanson, you could be right. Sterling could be a huge option. Would you go Vardy to Jesus for a hit for Game Week 37? Yeah, I probably would. 24-hour live stream. Imagine I did a 24-hour live stream drinking. That could get messy. I mean, potentially we might have to do something special for Game Week 38. But there's the potential that I might be involved in other stuff for that game week as well. Ricardo Pagan, how you doing, my friend? Patreon in the chat. Thank you so much for your support, Ricardo. I should really say it to others, but you're the most recent one. So when I see your name, purely because I missed it for a little bit as well, didn't I? But thank you so much, Ricardo. And the others in the stream that do support me as well. Much appreciated. De Gea, or you all support me, but you know what I mean. De Gea, Robertson, Christensen, Loughton, Sarlison, Milivojevic, Sterling, Wood, Aubameyang, Jesus, Devraka, Mustafi, Chilwell, Kennedy. I like the look of that side. Christensen, is he playing? See, the problem is I get so focused on my team that sometimes I miss what's happening with other teams. Because I see the lineups and I'm focused on seeing if my players are playing. I should really get into practice of looking at all the lineups properly. Robertson I like, but game time may be managed because of Champs League. Son, game time risk. I think Salah is a game time risk. Sterling is a game time risk. I'd say your strikers probably okay there, and your bench is probably okay as well. So the players I mentioned will be the ones I'd look at. I'm probably going to save my transfer as well, Ricardo. Try and have 2 transfers for Game Week 37. Any punts? I'll be honest, I prefer to take my guesses for punts for Game Week 37 after Game Week 36. What I would say is look at who will be nailed on in those sides. I think Jesus could be a very important player in that double game week because I think I can't see another striker taking his place with Aguero out. And like I said, Edison could potentially take a penalty, so maybe look at Edison. Kane will not score many goals because of karma. Probably what he deserves after like trying to get that goal off of Eriksen. I think Tyrese Mini, they will still rotate because I think that team is strong enough to win some of those games with resting players. They rested Sane, of course. So I think it's possible we could see rotation there. Don't drink for 24 hours, not good for the liver. I wish you had told me that when I was 21, Siraj. We could start off with like cups of tea and then work to like lunchtime drinks. Maybe I'll order in some takeaway and then we could get to alcohol at the end. Although, to be honest, I think my wife might kill me if I tried to do a 24-hour stream as we've just had a newborn baby. So yeah, I doubt that's going to happen this year anyway. Unless we can get someone to look after them. Craig Manuel, at the moment I have Son and Vardy for Game Week 37. I can get Sterling or Jesus for free. What's the better combination, Sterling and Vardy or Son and Jesus? I'd say Sterling and Vardy because I worry about Son's game time. I think Lucas Moura might get some more game time. Tyrese Mini, the only reason I think it's possible is because I have seen how many goals Kane can score at the end of a season, and I think Salah's game time will be restricted. Gary B, as far as hits, it's all about your confidence in the player you're bringing in. If they have 2 games and you think they're likely to score in those 2 games, then I would say definitely look at bringing players in for hits, but you have to be pretty confident in it. What does Chris Kamara have to do with the amount of goals Kane scores? I have no idea what Chris Kamara has to do with... Is this one of your jokes, Jeff? What does Chris Kamara have to do with the amount of goals Kane scores? Do I remember my 21st birthday? Kind of. It got very messy near the end, though. I tried to get in someone's car, assuming it was a cab, and it wasn't a cab. I don't remember how I got home. I remember thinking my mate wasn't strong enough to carry my keys. So, yeah. I remember bits and pieces. Robert Hansen, this game is extremely addictive. It's destroying my life. I can never say that about FPL. I'll be honest, because of YouTube and other stuff and kids, I probably haven't spent as much time on it as usual. So this year I probably had a more healthy relationship with FPL. Svensson, how many hits have I taken this season? I think most of my hits have been taken when it's a blank or a double game week. I have taken, I think, some hits elsewhere when I just felt like it made sense, but I wouldn't say I've taken that many. Ah, Jeff Holt, I get you now. I don't know why I couldn't figure that out myself. FPL makes your life better, isn't it right, Siraj? Anyway, guys, we are about to hit the hour mark. Oh, Jeremy T missed a chunk of the stream and I'm about to just say goodbye. Craig Manuel's got to go. Could study 24 hours, still set up my FPL team. Siraj, you got some commitment that maybe not everyone else has. Because you seem to study a lot. Like, you're going to be some sort of genius, I reckon. Anyway, I am going to sign off now. So, guys, thank you so much for joining the stream. Thank you so much for all the support. Again, please, if you could, like and share the video. Also, hit that notification bell if you do want to be 100% guaranteed to get my videos and my live streams. So, make sure to do that. And, of course, you can support the channel with various links in the description, including Patreon, which is your way of supporting me monthly. And, of course, there's various ways you can do it during the stream if you wish to. Also, thank you for anyone that did nominate me for the Football Blogging Awards. We'll soon find out if I am going to that or not. Can't we all just join in a dance? Maybe at the end of the season we'll do a bit of a dance. There are a few videos of me dancing on YouTube, so you could try and find them. No problem about joining your league, Jeff. I think it's a great idea. I tried to do it before. Sometimes they're not as receptive when someone like me is doing it. The invite, I don't know why. No worries, Tyrese. London's good if you're making money. If you're making money, London's good. But it's expensive out here, man. Notifications, good man, Siraj. Hearts in the chat from Jeff. It's all about the game. I'm just about to get to that, Siraj. Just about to get to it. So that is the end of the stream. Thank you guys so much for joining me. I've been JNO. This has been FPL Today. And remember, it's all about the game.